Yeah, before we get into looking, you're taking a closer look at the new Incidence View and talking a little bit about that, I wanted to just mention some of the new key features and really what inspired this new Incidence View and just what you can kind of expect to see before we get into just walking you through it from the portal's perspective. So really, at Lumu, as many of you are probably familiar with us by now, we're always looking for ways to help people operationalize and make the most of their ability to operate cybersecurity. So really the idea with the new Incidence View is just enhancing this, making it more operable, making it easier, and making the information exportable and accessible to everybody. So it's really about that operability and about being able to take a look at what you need to look at, when you need to see it, and putting that information, what's most important and what's key, right in front of you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk a little bit about what you can expect to see. So let's take a look at the portal. Okay, great. So you should be seeing our Lumu portal here. And essentially when you're seeing the Incidence View, it's as you saw it before, as far as how they're listed here. Now, when we take a closer look at the incidents themselves, that's when you're going to see the changes. So let's just filter here. I wanted to show you a particular malware related incident. So as you can see, you can filter by the incident type. I selected malware there. You can filter by the label, which gives it some kind of relevance across the organization. Let me just refresh here. All right, let's start that over again. So we filter by the incident type. I'm going to select malware. Then I'm going to filter by the label. And there's a particular incident that I wanted to show you, and then we'll talk through some of those new features with this incident. So here it is. And so now when you access the incidents themselves, this is our new Incidence View, right? This is what you can expect to see. So you're going to be able to see, the IOC here, as you always have, a description of the threat type, and then you're going to see these new tabs here. So the way that the information is displayed now is with each tab sort of having its purpose and there with intention, right? Making it, again, operable and giving you the information that you need to see when you want to see it. So here in the activity tab, that's when you're going to see kind of what's happening as far as it pertains to your organization. So how frequently those assets are in contact with that IOC, which specific endpoints in your organization are being affected by that, et cetera, et cetera. The highlights tab, that's going to sort of show you how it's moving across the organization. So that's going to give you that context as it pertains to your particular organization and the way that it's moving and making its way around your organization. So it gives you that type of incident context in the highlights tab. The threat intelligence tab, that's going to give you information about this specific type of threat. In this case, it's malware. We're going to take a look at this in just a second. But it's going to give you some information and some additional context into that particular threat and some of maybe the triggers or things that you can kind of use to learn a little bit more about how to navigate it. Then we have the MITRE attack matrix. So the attack matrix, perhaps you're familiar with this already, gives you those threat techniques. So if you want to explore further and better understand, you can certainly access the MITRE attack matrix and learn about those attack techniques directly from the MITRE attack matrix itself. All right, so we'll explore this particular incident as our example today, as one of the examples as it relates to malware. So as you can see here, again, have the IOC listed here. You can easily copy it. So I'll go through some of these little things in the portal. You can easily copy that IOC for your record if you need it. You see here a description of the type of malware that you're dealing with at a high level. This is exportable. So we have more options when it comes to exporting information from the portal. So you can download the STIX report. We have you can download all of the contacts, again, how that's moving across the organization, all that information to a CSV file, as well as all the endpoints affected. So all that information is exportable. It's downloadable for your personal information if you need that. And you can manage the incident from here. So you can close the incident, mute the incident, or comment. Or you could do it from here, the operation timeline, which is a new feature now as well in the incidence view. And really the thing with the operation timeline is making this more operable, making this collaborative across cybersecurity teams, right? So being able to know, where you stand with a particular incident. So when the incident is first created, it's created when, of course, there's contact with that malicious IOC. So that's going to be that first threat contact, the endpoint contacted, what it was contacted by. So it just gives you a little bit of context there. And then you'll see which members of your organization have maybe read the incident, have taken some sort of action. They can close it, mute it. And then there's also this feature where you can leave a comment. So, let's say we're working on this incident. You can leave a comment there, and then it updates it. So again, this operation timeline is made to help teams be collaborative and be on the same page when it comes to an incident, understanding what's going on and being able to operate it that way. So it's a cool new feature. It's certainly something that enables cybersecurity teams. Here below, again, we have those 4 tabs, right? The activity tab. So this is the first one, again, just letting you know as it pertains to the activity across your organization. So the number of endpoints that are affected or have been in contact with this IOC, how frequently they've been in contact with the IOC, and then the number of labels affected. So just as a reminder, labels are things that you can assign across your organization to prioritize incidents. And these labels can be assigned to different data collectors, different assets. You can sort of customize that to give it relevance and be able to highlight incidents maybe in a certain part of your organization or however you want to assign those labels. So again, just helps with that prioritization and helps you understand where that malicious incident is taking place or what it's affecting, right? Again, you can download all of the contacts, all the endpoints affected from here as well as here. Below, you're going to see details now about the different endpoints affected. So if you click on the dropdown for this particular asset, you're going to see that this endpoint affected is associated with the development label. It's been in contact with this IOC 5 times. This is the date range. So this is the time between, when all that contact has been taking place for this particular asset. And then if you take a look below, again, all exportable, but you can see all of the details of the contact taking place with this IOC, between this IOC and this particular asset. So you can see all of that information. Here you see it sort of at a high level, but for those who are more technical and want to see the packet data or the more detailed information related to this contact, you can click on see more details there. And this gives you the information from the metadata collector itself. So this can give you information, that more kind of detailed information. You can copy all of it, gives you all of that technical data associated with this contact. And there are certain circumstances where if the firewall blocked it, for example, that will be reported here as well. So in certain cases, you're going to be able to see actions taken by other elements of your cybersecurity stack in this packet data here. All right, so that's the activity tab. Next, we'll move on to the highlights tab. So as we talked about, the highlights tab, really the purpose here is to tell you how it's moving across the organization and sort of just that frequency and contact, but from a different sort of, giving you sort of different context and maybe focusing a little bit more on timelines and things of that nature. So just a different way to visualize and consume this information. So it gives you really at the top here, gives you a summary. That's a high level, letting you know how long this incident has been open, when it began, the first contact, the last contact, the number of labels, first endpoint that it affected, and then you can understand sort of at that point how it's spread maybe to the other endpoint. And then you see the different labels affected below. Again, just depending on the labels that you've assigned for prioritization, you can see the different labels. So in this case, it's impacted the operations and the development labels for this particular example. So below, you're going to see the attack distribution. And this is just, again, just a visual timeline, another tool to understand how it's spreading across the organization. And then below that, perhaps you're already familiar with our compromised radar, but this is showing that frequency in contact. So you can really understand what's going on. As you click in and out of different days of the week, you can get another visual for how that contact with the IOC is spreading. Below that, we have spam box. There are certain instances, certain events where we're going to have spam box data. If there was any correlation there, that will be reported down below here where you see spam box. So that is our highlights tab. Next, we have threat intelligence. So threat intelligence is going to contain all that information related to this particular threat. So this particular threat is malware. It's a certain type of malware, certain type of malware family. So all of the information that we can provide you about this particular malware family, for example, and in this instance, is going to be here in the threat intelligence tab. And the purpose of this tab is to help you to respond, with purpose and with precision, or to really just better understand the threat. Because, keep in mind with Lumu Defender, you can automate the responses to these, and you can do that blocking and that intervention in real time. But to better sort of understand what's happening, we give you all the resources available, and that can be found in the threat intelligence tab. So that's really the purpose of that tab there. And this is going to contain, so the threat triggers below, that's going to contain all of the information related to any related IOCs, so that you can sort of get an understanding of other IOCs that may be related to this, to be able maybe take action ahead of time in case it spreads. So you just can understand all of the different threat triggers here, as we call it, or the different related IOCs. And that information, again, is exportable so that you can use it, as you see fit and as needed, of course. Below that, the related files. So it's going to have all of the hash files related to this IOC as well. All that information is going to be listed here. You can download that via CSV, again, to take action as needed on your end, if needed. And then below that, related resources. So this is where you're going to find any external articles, any blogs, any relevant information that can help you better understand this particular kind of threat. We're going to include that in the related resources here. And then the final area here below is the malware incident response playbook. So that playbook, each and every incident comes with its incident response playbook. So it just gives you a little bit of context and helps you understand how the incident might be moving, what's going on, and maybe how to best respond in that case. So that's the purpose of the threat intelligence tab, of course. Now, last thing here, MITRE attack matrix. Many of you are probably familiar with the MITRE attack matrix, but at Lumu, anytime we find anything malicious, we try to tie it back here so that you can understand, the different techniques used in this particular case. Application layer protocol, we got T1071, so you can click on that, and it's going to just give you a little overview here. But you can actually access the MITRE attack matrix itself. So it will link you to this specific protocol to help you understand, again, just techniques used and how to best respond in that case. So that's really the operability of the new Incidence View. Again, this operation timeline makes it really easy for teams to stay in touch. I'll show you another incident, a phishing incident, perhaps some different context here. Let's just go back to the Incidence View, and we can filter out to phishing. Okay. All right, so for phishing, again, same incident view, different context depending on, again, the attack type that we're looking at and what we're looking at here. So this is an example of a phishing IOC, phishing related IOC. And again, you see that as you have that asset level visibility, understand in the activity tab how this instance of phishing is moving across the organization. You're going to have that data here if you want to take a closer look. And again, all of the information is, of course, exportable. In this case, in this particular instance of phishing, you have this impacted different labels across the organization. So again, you can just really understand how it's moving and what it's affecting, how long, and how it's spreading across the organization. So here in the highlights tab. And then under threat intelligence, it's going to give you everything related to this particular phishing IOC. So any threat triggers, again, any related IOCs, you're going to be able to find that here. Any related files will be reported as well as your phishing incident response playbook. So it's just, different incident has different context and provides different data, different playbooks so that you can respond accordingly. The other thing about the incidence view is, of course, if you ever need anything, and our team is here to help. You can always contact an expert here. You can reach out directly to our support team if you have any questions, things of that nature. We also have, here we have documentation, technical documentation, helps you to understand things related to incidents, things related to the portal, all of that stuff. And, the other thing to keep in mind is that with these incidents, as I mentioned, action can be automated, and it can be automated with Lumu Defender. So you can, intervene that contact in real time, make sure that, your users aren't actually in contact with that IOC by integrating with Lumu Defender. So we have API integrations available, and we have various out-of-the-box integrations available. So we're constantly, looking at different out-of-the-box integrations and new out-of-the-box. We're always adding new things. So certainly keep your eyes open for new integrations along the way. But we're always expanding this, and it's a very good way to leverage your existing cybersecurity investments to sort of take action in real time and be able to intervene before it becomes a bigger issue, right? And in real time, be able to respond in real time. So with that, I want to invite you guys to open a Lumu free account. Sort of start to understand what it's all about. From there, you can take it to Insights or Defender, just depending on your needs. But Lumu Free is a very good way to get started. So I certainly always encourage everybody to get started by opening a Lumu Free account, just to get familiar with the environment and get your hands on it. So with that, I'll pass it back to Julian. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.